Good morning, dear students. Today I shall be dealing with Ionesco's play, The Chairs. Ionesco, born in the year 1909 in Slatina, Romania, was a Romanian-born French dramatist who wrote mostly in French and was one of the foremost figures of the French avant-garde theatre in the 20th century. Now, the term avant-garde is French, meaning advanced guard, that part of the army that goes ahead of the rest. Avant-garde theatre artists challenge the status quo through innovation and experimentation. In its nascence, it was a form of resistance to the practices and forms of traditional theatre. Traditional forms of theatre at the time revolved around melodramatic or realistic depictions of life, time, and space. Ionesco inspired a revolution in ideas and techniques of drama, beginning with his anti-play, The Bald Soprano, which contributed to the beginnings of what is known as the theatre of the absurd. Elected to the Académie Française in 1970, Ionesco remains among the most important dramatists of the 20th century. Now, dear students, you must know something about the theatre of the absurd. Now, the theatre of the absurd is a kind of dramatic genre found in Europe and America in the 50s and early 60s, who agreed with the existentialist philosopher Albert Camus' assessment in his essay, The Myth of Sisyphus, that the human situation is essentially absurd, devoid of purpose. The term is also loosely applied to those dramatists and the production of those works. Though no formal absurdist movement existed as such, dramatists as diverse as Samuel Beckett, Eugene Ionesco, Jean Genet, Arthur Adamov, Harold Pinter, and a few others shared a pessimistic vision of humanity, struggling vainly to find a purpose and to control its fate. Humankind, in this view, is left feeling hopeless, bewildered, and anxious. The ideas that inform the plays also dictate their structure. Absurdist playwrights, therefore, did away with most of the logical structures of traditional theatre. There is little dramatic action as conventionally understood. However, frantically the characters perform their business serves to underscore the fact that nothing happens to change their existence. In Beckett's Waiting for Godot, published in 1952, we find that the plot is eliminated and a timeless circular quality emerges as two lost creatures, usually played as tramps, spend their days waiting, but without any certainty of whom they are waiting for or of whether he or it will ever come. Language, likewise, in an absurdist play is often dislocated, full of cliches, puns, repetitions, and meaningless. The characters in Ionesco's The Bald Soprano sit and talk, repeating the obvious until it sounds like nonsense, thus revealing the inadequacies of verbal communication. The ridiculous, purposeless behavior and talk give the play a dazzling comic surface. But beyond it, there is an underlying serious message of metaphysical distress. Eugene Ionesco's The Chairs, which is in our syllabus and which is our focal point of discussion, is one of the playwright's most popular plays. First performed in Paris on April 22, 1952, The Chairs open with the old man sitting on a stool looking out the window. His wife, the old woman, worries that he will fall out of the window. Finally, she pulls him in and drags him towards two chairs. The old man sits on her lap. The old woman works to calm him, reminding him that he has a message to deliver. The old man is excited when he remembers this. He gets up and starts to pace. The old man tells him how talented he is and that he must tell the world his message. It is revealed that the old man will reveal his message to many important people that evening. The doorbell rings and the first guest arrives. All the guests are invisible, however. The first guest is the lady. The old couple makes small talk with this invisible woman and gets her a chair. Another guest arrives. It is a colonel who is seated next to the lady. The doorbell rings again and two more guests arrive. Bailey and her husband. The old woman makes grotesque sexual gestures towards Bailey's husband. The old man intimates that he had been involved with Bailey in the past. More invisible guests arrive. The old woman fetches more chairs, but she cannot keep up. She gets frustrated by the old man's demands. The old woman does not even know who the guests are, but the old man is too busy to explain them to her. Other invisible guests arrive, one after another, some bringing children as well. This upsets the old couple, but they try to seat them just the same. As more invisible guests arrive, the old woman's hunt for chairs become comical. When the old woman runs out of chairs, she begins to sell programs and food treats. The invisible guests without chairs are forced to stand against the wall. The crowd is so massive that the old man and the old woman have to shout to locate each other across the room. They continue, however, to make small talk among the guests, assuring them that the message will be spoken in a few moments. The emperor arrives. The old couple is shocked that such an important man is in the house. The invisible crowd gives the emperor the best seat in the house. The orator arrives to announce the old man's message. Unlike the other guests, he is a real person and dressed in the garb of a 19th century artist. The orator mounts the dais and the old man directs the invisible audience to ask the orator for autographs. He signs them. The old man thanks his guests for coming. He tells the emperor that his life will not have been in vain after his message has been shared with them. Finally, the old man thanks his wife. Then, after one last praise of the emperor, the old man and the old woman jump out of the window and commit suicide. The orator begins to speak, but he is a mute as well as a deaf person. He can only make throaty noises. To communicate the message, he writes a few meaningless words on a chalkboard. He finally leaves, and the noise of the invisible audience marks the end of the play. Now, that's the brief synopsis of this one act play. Now, most critics and audiences didn't know what to make of the chairs. In the play, an elderly couple, as you have just heard from our discussion, sets up chairs and greets invisible guests who have come to hear the old man's message to the world. The message is left in the hands of an orator after the couple commits suicide, but he is deaf, mute, and cannot relay it. In the program for the original production, Ionesco writes, and I quote, "As the world is incomprehensible to me, I am waiting for someone to explain it," unquote. As the idea of a theatre of the absurd, a literary form that explored the futility of human existence, evolved, the chairs came to be seen as a seminal example of the genre, highlighting the loneliness and futility of human existence.